Hi, thank you for tuning in to Grand Blanc Watchdogs podcast. Your host, Lonnie Adkins.
And Monica Shapiro.
So let's talk about this newsletter we received from the Township Supervisor.
The spring newsletter, it came with your spring taxes, and it's a message from our supervisor, Scott Bennett.
So let's see. So the top, I like to say, it's interesting, the community in motion part of the thing.
I have two things to say before you get any further. Yes, well, wait. A community in motion, that's our new slogan. And we paid $120,000 to a consultant, a branding consultant, to come up with our new motto and our new swirly logo. We paid this person. Maybe another government might have put that up as a high school competition, something like that would have been free and educational and exciting and gotten the community involved. No, we paid a consultant. She came up with this.
At least they captured the reality motion of what the residents are doing.
Yes.
They're in motion, and so is their money. And it's leaving the township.
Right. They're in motion, all right. So they're decamping for Fenton and Oakland County as fast as they can.
Restaurants and markets and places to entertainment for your children, and hell, probably parks, too. They're probably going to other parks, but...
Yes, I myself take my bike down to Rochester often.
All right, so let's dissect this a little bit. So what do we got here?
Well, he starts right in with misinformation about roads. He says it's ambitious on funding roads, subdivision streets, and pathways. May I say, I believe that it is somewhat an answer to me standing in front of the board and saying $57 million has been invested in our roads, and these guys did nothing to incorporate non-motorized into that development. They could have made our roads accessible. They could have made this it was a very good opportunity to do something great for something that the master plan number one said they wanted. Anyway, they did not do it. And I'm forever saying, $57 million was spent and you guys didn't channel it right. And you could have. But when I get up in front of, that's when Scott laughed when I said $57 million. So right off the bat, the first thing he says, just to make sure everybody knows that I'm full of it, is townships throughout Michigan do not receive road funding. County road commissions own and have jurisdiction over all streets, rights of way, blah, 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 roads, bridges, signage. County owns it, but it's in our community, and they invest in our community. They are bringing funding to our community for our roads. It just gets administered by them. It's not at your discretion, Mr. Supervisor. It's not like a city which has a budget for roads and they get money directly from the Michigan Transportation Fund. The township gets it from the county. The county decides. You talked about the PASER ratings. There's all kinds of ways that they determine who gets what. But at every one of those jobs, of course they come to the supervisor. Of course they say to the community, what do you want here? We're going to be widening it. How do you want it to look? There's discussions. And these guys have never been proactive about, one thing we want is everybody has said over and over again in every single survey that we want to be able to walk and run and cycle on these big, wide roads that we see. So a
bikeable, walkable community. That seems to be
economic bonanza, especially for a town like ours where the bulk of our general fund comes from residential and commercial property tax.
Well, the whole road issue within the township, Scott just punts the issue.
Yes, and always.
There's no answer to the residents. They want answers.
They want this. They want that.
What I love about this is this whole newsletter talks about, here's one, the code enforcement section. The whole thing says, if you have an issue or concern with the township, stop by the township's main office. Nobody's ever going to do that.
Right.
Most people are intimidated to even do that. But however, everything, if you have a complaint with the township, go into the building. But if you have an issue with the Genesee County Road Commission, they even put a scan code, a barcode on here where it can take you right to a complaint form.
Yes, apparently they are really set up to address residents' complaints.
But these are our
They
local.
make it easy for you to make a complaint, but
you know
not
what,
at the
though?
township. It's not easy at the township. At the township, you've got to go down there.
But this is
it's intimidating.
This is politics at its worst. Obviously, these are
They don't
our
want to
direct.
be bothered with people's
But these are our
problems.
direct representatives in the township. They're the ones that should be taking the concerns of the residents, and if it has anything to do with the county, they should be fighting on our behalf to procure more funding.
That's what you elect
and
them
why
to do.
aren't they fighting? If it's true that we're only getting $195,000 from the county, we're the largest tax base in Genesee County. Why isn't that front and center? Maybe they should go to court. Maybe they should fight a little harder, but instead they just put it off to their residents and say, scan this code and complain to them. Leave us out of it.
Yeah, leave us out of it.
Oh, God, you want roads? Don't talk to me.
Yeah, we
And then it
can't
says-
do anything about your roads. And
then-
guess what, folks?
Then it's like a double negative. Then it says the county gives them $195,000 a year, but they might as well have put it in bold font and underscored it. Keep in mind, that requires a matching fund out of our general fund, and keep in mind that we haven't increased that general fund millage in decades.
Millage. It's not even.
It's like, okay, keep in mind now, if you want us to match those funds, we need more of your money.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
No.
It's crazy.
Your full-on assessment money is going into the general fund.
aren't
It's
they
not
fighting
just
for us?
millages.
Why aren't they fighting for us?
Right.
You hear court cases all over the country every time you turn around. Maybe the revenue sharing is out of whack. Maybe it needs to be relooked at. If we're the largest tax base in the county and we're only getting that much money, if that's been in place for a long time, they should be fighting on our behalf.
Right.
Not me upload some barcode and put in a complaint
Okay,
form.
well, listen, let's go down to the level of the complaints because, I did go significantly into many neighborhoods, and I always learned something every single time about what they were dealing with. Okay, I was in Williamsburg Farms. Very, very lovely young mother, had small children, and she lived right off the Genesee Road entrance to Williamsburg Farm. And the cars came zooming off there, and the bus stop for the kids hers were too little to be using the bus stop yet, but the bus stop for the kids was on the corner there. So these cars were coming speeding. She wanted a stop sign because there was kids lining up at the bus stop. There should be a stop sign. Too bad. They come in off Genesee, they got to immediately stop. So she went to the township and said, we need a stop sign in our neighborhood. There's kids. And a lot of little kids. It's an up-and-coming neighborhood, the kind you want to encourage. And he said to Scott that she went to him, we need a stop sign. Scott did this, sent them to the road commission. That's not our business. The road commission owns our roads. They have jurisdiction over all stop signs. Go to the road commission. And maybe it was before barcodes, maybe. But anyway, she was probably guided to this very complaint line. So she calls up and she got this lady, this woman she called, and she's told her it's not enough kids to merit a stop sign. If there was 100 kids lined up waiting for the bus, then we might think about a stop sign. And that's what the road commission told him. This woman who has 4 kids that are going to be waiting for the bus every morning. Yes, the cars have to stop. And she might have them playing. She might have them riding bikes. And you want a whole neighborhood to have kids. That's a place they have to stop right when they come rushing in off Genesee Road. It's a no-brainer. And so poor old, lady that was about to retire at the road commission told her no. And they needed 100 kids to make it worth their while to put a stop sign. I mean, isn't that ridiculous?
It's ridiculous.
And where is Scott Bennett then? Why didn't he make it his business to get this woman a stop sign? It is a no-brainer. You want to be family friendly. You want to, and that kind of thing where they have a legitimate complaint and he doesn't intercede on their behalf. Of course, they'll listen to Scott more than they'll listen to somebody who says, please, can I have it? Obviously, he should have gone right in and said, are you crazy? I've got 5 constituents, young people we want to, that are endangered by this.
Well, we send a lot of money. A lot of our taxes go to the county. And
they love it. Oh,
board-
by the way, when they want to say that they can't afford to do this and they can't afford to do that, they always have this pie chart that shows the percentage of the general fund that we have to give away.
Correct.
But they never tell you what's the total. So what is there number-wise in the general fund that we have? So
And-
what? Okay, a percentage of it is a big percentage is going elsewhere, but there's still a great big pie.
Why be there should be some sort of a benefit of being the largest tax base in the county. That benefit should be you should walk with a bigger stick.
Us.
You should walk with a bigger stick.
And say, look, we are giving you so much funding, help us out.
Why aren't we fighting like hell with the
We're
county?
the gateway to the county because of where we're located on the highways.
There was a saying, are you getting the amount of government you're paying for?
Right.
And in this case,
no.
It's absolutely no. But unfortunately,
what the government can do, that's good.
Yeah, but unfortunately,
we have lots of what the government does that's bad. But there's things government actually can do that's good. What they do that's bad is create ridiculous bureaucracies and make it impossible for people to get their special assessment districts. We can. We've said enough about roads and $57 million.
Do you know it's easier for me to complain that my neighbor parked his boat on his yard than it is for me to make a road complaint? We'll create the code enforcement, all the work that went into that, and fighting amongst your neighbors over little things that really, in the grand scheme of things, don't. And then raising
those fines are nice discretionary income.
Why wouldn't they turn some of their angst? It's almost like anything they can do to
foster discontent and isolation and not working together
amongst the residents.
Yes.
Like, why wouldn't you turn some of that angst to the county and actually fight for us?
Yeah.
And what we want, what we need. Right. Where are you guys?
Right.
What are you doing? You're the direct representatives of the township.
We elected
I shouldn't have to upload a photo of a pothole.
Yeah.
Freaking nuts.
Right. I shouldn't have to do that.
That's
no,
nuts.
You call up and you say, can you send somebody
We're
out
busy.
from me? Yeah.
What are you doing?
Right.
So what, as a community, should the next newsletter look like in my mind? Something of an action plan. What are they doing? The direct representatives that were elected to serve this community, what are they doing
Lonnie,
for the roads? What are they doing?
I want to jump in here and say, what we want for the community, the reason we're doing this podcast is because we want you to ask yourself, does this mean anything, what they're saying here? Does it mean what I think it means? I can't quite make out what they're telling me. I want people to ask those questions. We will be asking those questions. Let's try to find.
Yeah, I mean, no more barcode and here, send your photos in. What are, you guys wanted the job. You got the job.
What are you doing
now,
for us? Who
tell us in the next
you?
newsletter, what are you doing for us? And in closing, if you like the content you're hearing on this podcast and you're concerned about your community and where it's heading, please tune in. We will be bringing episodes regularly to you and covering different topics and breaking them down so you can understand exactly what's going on and get involved.